BBC Hooniverse.
You're watching the TGM production.
Hello. Now, before we get into this review, I just want to say, today we're talking about two brand new, lost, missing episodes of Who within the story of the Dalek Master Plan. And throughout this review, as you will see above, we have the one and only William Hartnell looking over this review. I set it up, the shot like this, for this exact reason. So I'd like to just say thank you, William Hartnell, for your excellent performance, and I'm glad it's back in the archive. Let's get on with the review. Woo! 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 Yes, that's me trying to be funny. Hello, and welcome to the review of two brand new episodes have returned from the archive within the story, The Daleks Master Plan. This is The Nightmare Begins and The Devil's Planet. Now, before this review goes any further, I have to give a disclaimer whilst I get the box out of my pocket to make sure that I don't accidentally stop it recording. Now, due to my excitement, really, this review is sort of not going to be as in-depth as it would be due to the fact that I've watched both of them now. I've seen The Nightmare Begins on the Devil's Planet back to back, and I'm not going to mention how many years it's been since the episodes have been released because I can't remember the exact number, but that will be in all the promotion for this. So this has been a very, very, very exciting day for us Who fans, and actually, I think if parents are trying to parents are in this situation where they're overexcited, they want to watch it, and they want the kids, and then they want to watch it now, and they're with the kids, right? Because they're Daleks, and because Daleks are universal to every generation of Who fan at this present moment, right? Apart from probably the ones I don't know, yeah. Then this is still, even though it's not at the beginning of the story, it's still accessible for families to introduce their children for the first time. So I do think that this satisfies everyone, really, in that sense, anyway. So let's talk about The Nightmare Begins. I mean, let's first of all talk about Filming Fabulous's amazing work on restoration, right? You look close up and you think, right, you can, obviously it's not going to be completely salvageable because of where it's been and because of how long it's been in this believed missing state. But it's the closer you get, you sort of see but it's much better than some of the episodes that I play with what I'm getting. But further away, it looks stunning, right? I think, just comparing, I think it's in the first one. I think it's in The Nightmare Begins, but it's the way that 1 minute William Hartnell slipped back and like, yeah. Next minute, he's like dishevelled, walking and going, oh yeah. And I love William Hartnell as the Doctor. Yes, I do, mate. And you can see it in this painting, actually. The evidence here. It's all the close-ups, right? Because I was watching this more of an analytical, critical eye, right, for a review. It's the close-up. You can see that here. Right, if we look at it, you can see that with his eye right there. It's the eyes. It's why would he do a close up? Why does he always look like that? So the TARDIS key, right? So let's talk about this TARDIS key scene because it's the most fabulous thing in the world. So Stephen, played by the wonderful Peter Purvis, I'll get onto that in a minute, right? Katrina's needs to look after Stephen whilst the Doctor goes to find out where they are to try and get help, right? So the Doctor says to Katrina, he says, right, do you know what button it is to close this door? And she's like, Yeah, this is my non-impression but impression. Because it's going to be just a standard impression to make it more comical. Because I'm trying to make it more comical. Yeah, I'll get back to it. So she's like, yeah, I do. I definitely know. Yeah, she really does. Right? Oh, I definitely know. Huh? And then he's like, well, I've got a key. I've got a key. I can get in. I can get in with the key. Right, okay. So the Doctor walks off. Right, and then the greatest thing of all time, she dips off, and not that long later, you see Nicholas Courtney, pre-Brigadier, because obviously the Brigadier is very memorable, but it's the fact that Nicholas Courtney was a fabulous actor. So was everyone in this, actually. I'm just going to say that outright. You can say a lot about 60s TV in that sense. Some of the reactions might not be perfect, or maybe not up to our standard now. It's due to the fact that the technology we've got now is easy for actors to make it more believable that they're tilting, because the whole thing probably was tilting, rather than someone shouting 3, 2, 1, and then when the camera tilts, they have to tilt with it, and the whole thing didn't move, right? There's a lot of negative stuff on that point, you can say, but I won't say any of that, because we've got different standards now, and we've got different thoughts of how it is, so it's obvious time in that sense, and I just think that adds to the charm of the thing. Anyway, so Nicholas Courtney gets his gun, right? I'm assuming it's a gun, it's some sort of pointery thing, right? He's like, and the Doctor's like, and then it cuts to Nicholas Courtney going, and Nicholas Courtney walking into TARDIS, and he's trying to turn it off and whatnot, and all that jazz, right? And at no point, I don't know why, but at no point did anyone notice that the monitor, right, turns on. I'm gutted that we don't, in modern in New Who, don't have that frame of monitor still there. That should have been the thing that kept on. I know we have other things that sort of represent that, but that is still heights of modern technology. So it just gets on, right? So they don't notice, for one, that the monitor's turned on. That's one thing, right? And you can probably excuse that. But then we, the viewers, get to see the most hilarious thing possible with it, right? We get to see the Doctor. So we see the Doctor, and it's the Doctor looking dishevelled. So this is my interpretation. I don't have the long hair, so I can't do it, but I'm just going to do my interpretation of someone looking dishevelled, but pretending to be William Hartnell, right? Give me a second. So you get it. So he walks in. Right, but he looks like he's been on a drunken night out. His hair's like up there. His hair's down there. He's like, yeah, right, okay. You've left the kid. You think you've got me now? think again. And it's like, what? That's. Why does he need to look like? Why does he need to look like he's been on a drunken night out? He can't have been knocked on the head and gone. But I understand his hair, because if you thought without having, you can probably see it slightly. He's got a hat on there, but having his hair that slicked back, it looked like it's been super glued to his head. I can sort of understand him being knocked out, his hair going over, but it's like, and it sounds like, and it looks like, might I add, like he's got a little bit. It looks like he's had a concussion. I'll be honest. It looks like he had a concussion. I'm not disagreeing with the acting here. I'm just saying it was a questionable choice. I mean, William Hartnell made the choice, and I sort of think the next scene sort of doesn't really reflect on it. Anyway, so he gets in, and obviously it moves on slightly, but having the force field of the chair thing, right? And I mean, I personally think that's incredible technology in the sci-fi sense. My other thing is, where did that disappear to? I mean, in New Who, at least. Where is that? Because that would have been excellent technology. That would have been brilliant in certain circumstances. But I think that Katrina and then him saying, I don't want to see someone die in stupid circumstances. That's my impression of Nicholas Courtney, but not really. But I'm doing Nicholas Courtney, right? And so Katrina's like, but how can I trust you? He went, I don't want to see him die stupidly, no. And then she gets the little pills, right? They look massive. And she, right, this is, I don't know whether or not this was a acting choice or whether or not this was intentional. I don't know. But it's the way that she sort of manipulates Stephen, aka Peter Purvis's head, like really, really violently. I mean, I'm glad he's unconscious at that point. She feeds him I hope he was unconscious. She feeds him the pills and there we go. But I think that beside those comical points that, in a comical sense, like I've just done, I can point out, I do think it's a joy to see them return to the archive. I do think that they're a pleasure to be in. So that was a bit of discussion there about The Nightmare Begins, which I love the fact that each individual, and I don't talk about this often enough, so this is why I'm going to sound like I've never seen this before. I have, I just don't really talk about it because I don't sort of think you need to talk about when you're talking about a story in itself. So as a Dalek Master Plan as a full story, those two parts now being included back to the archive. Yes, you can see that a lot of people who never got to see the missing episodes because they were before their lifetime, reading the novelisation, they could say, oh, the novelisation's far better. But I think having those two episodes back into that story, into the archive, sort of enhance what we've got. I think it makes the story better. So if you look at the Devil's Planet, I think that that's the weaker of the two, personally. Yes, I think that we get more from Stephen in the Devil's Planet more than we do in The Nightmare Begins. But I do think that the Devil Planet is a little bit not as sort of, I mean, it's got more going for it. There's more action to it, but I do think if you want to compare the two, I personally prefer The Nightmare Begins over The Devil's Planet, but I do think that The Devil's Planet does give Peter Purvis a lot more to do than it does in The Nightmare Begins. But I'm not really going off individual characters, really. I just love Doctor Who. I just love Doctor Who from the bottom of my heart. And if I step away for a second to make sure that we're still recording, as you can see from the background that I absolutely adore Doctor Who, right? In all of its senses, of course, William Hartnell's at the top, and whatnot. So I absolutely adore Doctor Who. So I'm not criticising anyone's performance. I'm just saying there's a few bits that now when you think about it, like the Candyman spelled with a K. I know I say that quite often, but that is quite a comical character, right? A sweet villain, right? So you can love Doctor Who as much as you like, but you've got to be honest about some things. You can love the villain like it's like no one's business, but you've got to be honest. Someone would say that to you. A non-Doctor Who fan would say that to you. That's weird, and you would have to agree. So I'd rather say it now than not say it at all. So I think that the Devil's Planet introduces what's interesting about the Daleks in general, right? In Classic Who, in the origins, there's always like a conflict between the Daleks and then another sort of race, if you will. And I think the Daleks are brilliant in this story, in general. In the Dalek Master Plan, the Daleks are brilliant, either way. I think Classic Who Daleks are a lot more, they rely on a lot more of the menace and the evilness, whereas New Who Daleks require a lot more of the amount of them that exist, the flyingness, the Murray Gold brilliant song, like, that's not his song, it's just an impression of the type of music I'm on about. And it's like you see the Daleks flying through the sky. Yes, that's brilliant. But having the Daleks going, enemy found, target required, and then it's just the Doctor like, it's William Hart. It's that close up on William Hartnell. I just think that I mean, I watch Doctor Who quite a lot, right? And I've just rewatched them, and I never really thought, because I'm looking at this in a review sense, I never really thought about those close-ups of William Hartnell. Why is there so many? And why does he always look a little bit more concerned in the close-ups than he does in the wide shots? Anyway, that I'm going off topic there slightly, but I think that having this other race involved, so you've got Nicholas Courtney and his gang of people. You've got Katrina, Stephen, and the Doctor together, right? Then you've got the Daleks in their section. You've got I can't think of what he's called now, but it's like the Emperor space person-y thing, right? So the one that delivers the message to the other space travellers. You've got the space travellers themselves, but then you've got the caveman-like people. And I think having that there, right, waiting until that further into the story, because obviously The Nightmare Begins isn't the beginning of the Dalek Master Plan story. It's, if I remember rightly, and I can tell you now off the iPlayer, is that it's not at the very beginning. I think, because I think, and this is what I'm checking on the iPlayer right now, I think that, and I can look, let me just, hang on. So if we go to Series 3, so it sort of goes, where is it? No, Itchy Knee, here it is. So it goes, oh wait, no, it is the first one, sorry. No, I'm completely wrong. See, I didn't really know the order. So it goes The Nightmare Begins, right? In the Dalek Master Plan story, this is what I'm on about. Then it's The Day of Armageddon. Then it's The Devil's Planet. Then it's Escape Switch. And that's the end of that. I do think, right, if I've got to compare this one, because I've got it up here. So Galaxy 4, right, and the Chumleys. Right, the Chumleys are brilliant, okay? I think if I have to rank between, in the first three stories, if I have to say top three favourite stories in the third series of William Hartnell's run, it would have to go The Daleks Master Plan, Galaxy 4, The Celestial Toymaker, then The Ark, and then The Gunfighters. Because I do think The Gunfighters is good, and The War Machine's at the bottom, but The War Machine's by the by, really. I'm not that much enamoured by The War Machine in itself. I know a lot of people disagree with that, but I think that the Daleks Master Plan, and I'm going to review the Gunfighters because I need to explain why I'm not 100% on board with it. I do think it's a fun story, but I don't think it sort of matches with what we've got here with the Daleks Master Plan. So the Nightmare Begins and the Devil's Planet are cracking, right? I'm not going to say too much further on the matter. I think they add to the story more from if you've never seen these before, because I've never seen these before. A lot of fans have never seen them before because obviously they were missing for so many years. When it got announced, I think I said this in my announcement, my review news about it, but when it got announced, looking at Peter Purvis's face was absolutely extraordinary in this. His reaction to the fact that they were recovered was priceless. It was just brilliant. And so, as we draw this review to a close, I'd like to say, if I'm going to rank them out of 10, which I don't really like doing, but I do think sometimes it's necessary, I'm going to give The Nightmare Begins a 9 out of 10, only because there wasn't enough for Peter Purvis to do in this one. And I'm going to give The Devil's Planet 8 out of 10, due to the fact that I prefer The Nightmare Begins, but it does give a lot more for Peter Purvis to do, but I just don't think it can stack up to The Nightmare Begins. I think what let The Devil's Planet down slightly, in my opinion, is the caveman sort of people that at the very end of it sort of not kidnap it, if you will, but sort of like make Katrina scream. I'm just not too enamoured by the fact that she needed to scream at that point. Ah! She could have just said, "Doctor! Doctor!" instead of screaming. But I do think that was a good way for it to get into our closing credits. I think Film is Fabulous did a cracking job of it. I do apologise if I said the name of the company wrong. I do think that it looks gorgeous. I do think I'm glad it's there, but will it become to DVD? Will we get Blu-ray? Will we get a DVD copy of it? Will we get more of it? Will we get it on DVD to add to our collections? Who knows? I hope it does, and I hope more missing episodes get found. So, there we have it. That's my review of The Nightmare Begins, which it was brilliant, and The Devil's Planet, which was quite good. I think great is the word I'm going to use. Fabulous. Let's use fabulous. So brilliant, right, which is your 9 out of 10, and your fabulous, which is your 8 out of 10. But what do you think of the missing episodes? Are you glad that more Missing Who is returned to the archive? What did you think? Let me know in the comments of wherever you found this video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Don't forget to subscribe to the official Tom Mason YouTube channel